It is finally time for off-season. It is finally time for balance changes in the base game. In this video, we will be looking at the patch notes for the Season 3 off-season patch. We will go through every single change. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So we have two new role buckets, Common Town and Common Coven. If you're familiar with BetterTOS2, these are the same role buckets from the mod. Common Town is the bucket that contains every single town except town powers. Common Coven is a role bucket that contains every single coven except coven power and coven killing rolls. These two buckets are useful to have more control in role lists where you can basically cap the amount of T-POW or prevent some OP coven comps from happening, like all three, or like coven killing or power spawning in and making the coven a very OP in certain situations. So our rank list will have two common town and two common coven instead of two random town, two random coven. And this should lead to more balanced scenarios where there is no more like OP coven, there is no more like 5 T-POW games, because there can be only a maximum of 3 T-POWs, which one of them is confirmed, but the other two has to spawn in random town. The odds of that are quite low. So this should lead to more balanced scenarios. I'm looking forward to how this list will play out. Let me know your feedback in the comments below. Let's jump into the role changes. So Trickster has been overhauled to a different version of the BetterTOS2 Trickster. Place magic mirrors and absorb attacks and unleash them at other players at will. Trickster may not place another magic mirror until they unleash the absorb attack to another player. So we decided to make Trickster in vanilla infinite mirrors. However, if you have an attack captured, you have to use it or you cannot protect anyone else. So in modded, you could capture multiple attacks because you had only 3 mirrors. In vanilla, this is I think a fair trade-off where you can only protect if you don't have any attack, and you can only self once. Because people were complaining in modded that they couldn't play the game basically after like running out of charges, they were being useless. So we decided to make it infinite mirrors, but you can only have 1 attack captured. So let me know your feedback about this, and I'm excited to see how this role will play out because this is definitely much more healthy than what we had as Trickster in vanilla. Our next change is Socialite. That was, I believe, another unhealthy role in Town of Salem 2 Season 2, which got completely overhauled. During the night, you may throw a party at another player's house. Any visitors not on the guest list will be rejected for entering, causing their ability to fail. Players rejected will be added to the guest list for future parties. During the day, you may add a player to your guest list, allowing them to attend future parties. So I believe this is a much more healthier approach for Socialite, and it can actually be fake claimed. It's not instantly confirmed. This should be better than the previous Socialite. No matter how you do it, night chat is insta confirm, and that's unhealthy for the game, especially for non-T-POW roles. Which is why also we made Deputy unique, which is like something I was gonna go on like in later in this video. Let me know your feedback about this rework as well. Our next rework is Coven Leader. So we believe Coven Leader having powerful attack is unhealthy for neutrals, which is why we also reworked the role in modded. During the night, pick another member of Coven to retrain. You will be able to select a new role for them to become. This has 2 uses. Coven Killing and Coven Power roles can become any Coven role. Coven Utility and Coven Deception roles can only become other Coven Utility and Coven Deception roles, because this would be unbalanced if you just created CKs from everybody. This move was made to balance the role. However, you can make Coven Power, Coven Killing to anything. You can retrain yourself, but in return you will lose defense. I believe that's a fair trade-off. You cannot retrain someone into a role that has already been on the team. The following day, the targeted Coven member will be able to accept or decline being retrained. They will instantly change roles if they accept. So this one also has an accept or decline mechanic, because we believe it might be unfun being forced to change roles. So you have the right to refuse it, unlike the BetterTOS2 idea. Another thing is the BetterTOS2 CL might become this instead to avoid confusion, because right now the 2 CL reworks are quite different, except like the bases are the same, changing roles, but still. Let me know your feedback about this idea as well. I believe a lot of sick plays will be made with this rework. Our next rework is Dreamweaver. Insanity is renamed to Insomnia. If a town member doesn't visit you, you will become Insomniac instead. Insomniac players may not use any day or night abilities, but does not affect voting. I think this is the most important part of this idea, that this does not affect voting, because I know players hated RNG. I know players hated being forced to vote something, and this idea changes that. Only VM is the role that only manipulates voting at this point, not Dreamweaver anymore. And it can be cured by just killing the Dreamweaver, so I think it's a fair one. Yeah, we're moving on to role changes. We were done with the reworks, so Baker no longer dies to starvation. Instead, they transform if all living players have bread if there's less than 3 players alive. Baker dying, I believe, was unnecessary because, like, Arsonist does a similar thing. Arsonist doesn't die, so, you know, why should Baker die? It never made sense to me, so we decided to change Baker death to, instead of transforming if everyone alive has bread if there's less than 3 people alive. Deputy is now unique. So Deputy is a role that greatly contributed to the town having day kills problem. So right now we like tried a rework in BetterTOS2 Salem 2, but that rework did not really stick out. Like that's the whole purpose of modded, try to test stuff and see if it works. So that idea did not stick out. So before that, Deputy was unique in BetterTOS2. So Vanilla Deputy also has become unique to reduce the amount of day kills, which is I think fair. Marshal has now 2 tribunal charges instead of 1. In a tribunal now a maximum of 2 players can be executed. Tribunal no longer resets the trial count. This is a change that got tested and modded, and it has received good feedback so far. This change aims to give evils enough time to counterplay the marsh by writting them, nuking them, or just outright attacking them at night. Gives enough time to prevent that second tribunal from popping off. So at least marsh is more counterable at this point compared to the previous one. I know there is no neutral para in the base game, which makes Marshall a monster. Basically, it was quite strong. But now it should be give evils enough time to counter it. Doomed players are announced that they are doomed and they die 1 day later. So this is also a BetterTOS2 change that has been tested and modded. Delayed death is basically an unstoppable poison. Instead of just them outright dying, allows them to at least perform their action one last time or retaliate. At least to do something before they die. Added Necronomicon Passing. So Necronomicon Passing is, I believe, the hugest addition in this update. It allows Coven to adapt to certain situations. This modifier, like, it's not a modifier here, it's a like base mechanic in vanilla, but still allows for a lot of plays to be made, and it has a huge potential. It completely changes how the game works. So this is something I'm looking forward to see how it will play out, because in BetterTOS2 it has received a lot of good feedback. And it has been doing real well, but like then almost every single game mode has this modifier on and modded. I expect this modifier to, I'm saying modifier, but it's not a modifier, it's to do really well on vanilla games, especially in ranked, where I think it's a must, because like when book holder gets jailed, at least like you could predict and counter it, or you could give the book to a role that's, you know, in that situation, it's better for that role to have it, that kind of situations, you know. Swapped Psychic Good and Evil Vision Knights, meaning now all knights have good visions and evil knights have evil visions. Yet another BetterTOS2 balance change, which I think kinda nerfs Psychic in a small way, because that Knight 1 Evil Vision was OP. Instead it's Knight 2 Evil Vision, I think, which is quite time for evils. Get ready to see a ton of jesters posting Knight 1 Evil Visions. You know, jesters thrive every update. That's the common knowledge along the town of Salem community, so yeah. Seer may not check the players they checked for the rest of the game. So Seer, unimaginably the strongest TI. Still. So the base game nerf was, you cannot visit the players you checked the next night. But the BetterTOS2 nerf was, you cannot visit them for the rest of the game. So our reason for doing this is like later to the game is pretty much solved. So you don't need to check the players again anyway. Like this was tested and modded and like it's worked out. So we have pushed the nerf one step further, and like Seer may not visit the players they checked for the rest of the game. Prosecutors may not prosecute twice in the same day. So there was this problem where Marsh could reveal and that's 3 hangs. Prosecutor could prosecute 2 people, that's 2 kills. And potential deputy shoots, which allowed to like up to 6 kills in one day from town. So this was extremely unbalanced, so at least we nerfed this by changing March, making Dep unique, and basically not allowing prosecutors to prosecute twice anymore. There should be no more like the games where like town gets that many day kills. Hopefully this should make prosecutor in a balanced state right now. Necromancer can now use Potion Master and Witch. If you use Potion Master on a town, you will use a reveal potion, so you will reveal them. Using them on a Coven, you will use a heal potion. Using Witch on someone will control them targeting themselves. So this gives Necromancer more utility, allow them to use if their teammates die, still make use of them. But anyway, that was it for the Season 3 off-season patch, and we are not done with the changes. In this off-season lasts a month before Season 3 actually starts, so we might do changes depending on your feedback. So let me know your feedback in the comments below. It's really important for you guys to give feedback, and it means a lot for us because we're actively listening to feedback. Hope you guys like the changes and enjoy the update. Thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video.